Hello, I'm Jerry Ford. I'm going to read a story from this book here. It's called The Scary States of America by Michael Teitelbaum. 50 weird and terrifying stories from one from each state based on true events. So I've been reading some stories from some of the states that I've lived in. Started off with Oklahoma, and then I did Colorado. What's next? I got them all written down here, so I'm trying to get starting off with the states I've lived in. I won't be able to finish this before I have to return it, but maybe I can recheck it out and read some more stories. You guys can even suggest what state you want to hear from if I haven't already read it, and I'll put it down as I'll star it or something. Okay, so let's see. Let's do Iowa. That's where I was born. So let's go ahead and let's get Iowa out of the way. Page 79. Seeing how big that's not too bad. Okay. Circles in the fields. You've heard of the crop circles. I guess Iowa had them, but I born there and we moved from there when I was about 10 years old, somewhere around there. So I probably haven't heard of anything while I was there. You know, I was a kid. I wanted to play. I didn't want to hear any stories about, you know, stuff to come out on the news or whatever. So, okay, so let's see what this says. If there's one thing I really hate, it's when people fake spooky stuff as a joke or to rip others off. Lots of people fake crop circles. I get stories all the time from my fellow paranormal aficionados who have been called out to farms to investigate so-called extraterrestrial created circles. They get there only to find some crudely stamped down corn, obviously the work of imposters. But a good buddy of mine who specializes in crop circles stories texted me about a story he personally verified. Okay, in bold letters it says circle fan. I guess this is him talking. Got a live one for you, Spectre. Paraguay. More people with ropes and boards making fake crop circles? Circle fan. No, dude. I'm talking real crop circles. Alien visitors. The whole enchilada. Paraguay. Is this really Circle Fan, the guy who told me 99.9% of all crop circles are fake? The guy who knows every method of pulling off crop circle hoaxes? What happened to Mr. Cynical? Circle Fan. I know, and I was skeptical too, but this one is real. Come and see for yourself, dude. We'll check it out together. I'd told Circle Fan, whose real name is Ben, that my family was taking a road trip through the Midwest later in the summer, so he was eager for me to visit him and the Machen farm near Iowa City, the site of these so-called authentic crop circles. So I met up with Ben, who turned out to be 17 and had just gotten his license. He picked me up at my aunt's house, and on the way out to the Machen farm, he filled me in on the details. Ben, I'm trying to keep an open mind here, I said as we headed out of Iowa City, zipping through a sea of cornfields on our way to the Machen farm. We've been buds long enough that you know I'm open to all kinds of really strange stuff. Spectre, you just don't buy that. You just don't buy that crop circles could be anything but fakes, right? He asked. Well, that's why I waited to check this farm out until you got here. I'm a skeptic too. but I know smart people who've seen these circles and they swear they're real. Okay? I've been doing more reading and some of these circles are really starting to check out, Ben continued. I read about scientists who studied one Iowa field where the plants were bent in a teardrop shape. Teardrop-shaped depression. They discovered that those plants had been exposed to what they call a complex energy burst, like a microwave oven. You know, microwaves cook food from the inside out. Well, all these plants were drained of all moisture from the inside while remaining unburned on the outside. That still doesn't mean extraterrestrials are behind it, I said, enjoying giving him a hard time. All right, Spectre, think about it. In this other case, 2 huge crop circles show up in a field overnight. No way anyone would have had time to fake those. Then, the following year, when soybeans were planted in the fields, only the seeds planted within the circles sprouted. The rest of the field stayed brown. I kept giving Ben a hard time, but I was sort of excited. By the time we got to Machen Farm, I had agreed to keep an open mind, and what I found was unreal. Thanks for coming, guys, said a 15-year-old boy who introduced himself as Charlie Machen. His dad owned the farm. Hey, Charlie, I'm Circle Fan, Ben said, shaking the boy's hand. You can call me Ben. This is my buddy Jason Spectre. Hey, thanks for letting us come out here, I said, shaking Charlie's hand. Charlie got in touch with me when the weird stuff started happening on his dad's farm, Ben explained as we started walking into the enormous cornfield. Ben told me you don't believe crop circles are real, Charlie said to me. But if this one's fake, I have no idea who could have faked it. This is what I'm saying, dude, Ben said, putting his face right up to mine. The 3 of us made our way through the perfectly straight rows of corn, which towered over my head. Then, out of nowhere, the field opened up into a huge circle. There was no path leading to or from the circle. It was just there, as if a giant with a round foot had stepped on the field. But the corn stalks weren't broken. They were only bent over as if someone had gently folded each one, careful not to snap them. The circle was enormous, measuring about 45 feet in diameter. The bent corn spiraled to the center of the circle. My family's been farming this land for 5 generations, Charlie told us as we stood in the middle of the circle. My dad's the head of the local farmers co-op. My grandfather even ran for city council. Everyone in the area knows my family. We're not ones to start believing in ghosts or UFOs. I mean, no offense, I know you're into all that stuff, but that's just not who we are. It's okay, I said. I didn't believe in this stuff either until I had a first-hand experience myself. I walked back to the edge of the circle and grabbed a cornstalk. I tried to bend it gently without breaking it, but it snapped in half in my hands. I tried again, bending another one, even more slowly, but again the stalk snapped in 2. I can't figure out how someone could bend each of these corn stalks without breaking them, I said. Told you, Ben said, smiling a goofy smile. Sometimes people are way cooler online than in person, I thought. We had investigators visit the farm, Charlie continued. They ruled out all the hoaxes they knew about, and they've seen a bunch. They couldn't explain it, so they just left it at that. My dad had a friend who worked in a lab in Iowa City, so he borrowed a meter from the measuring radiation. So he borrowed a meter for measuring radiation from this guy. We scanned the crop circle and sent the results to the lab. My dad's friend said that the meter was picking up traces of energy similar to microwaves. Called it plasma energy, whatever that is. Ben glanced over at me with an I told you so look. But the real show starts after dark, Charlie explained as we walked along the outside of the enormous circle. What do you mean? I asked. That's when the glowing begins, he said matter-of-factly. Glowing? This I have to see. He said matter-of-factly. Glowing? I thought. This I have to see. Why don't you guys stay for dinner? Charlie said. Then I can show you. Thanks, I said, pulling out my phone. I called my aunt's house and asked permission to stay for dinner. Ben did the same. Cool, thanks for the invite, I said after hanging up. Ditto, said Ben. After a dinner of fresh corn and chicken, we sat with Charlie and his parents on the porch, watching the sunset. Stars appeared slowly, filling the vast Iowa sky as it turned from dark blue to black. Come on, Charlie said after a while. It should be dark enough. After grabbing a flashlight and the borrowed radiation meter, he led us back out to the cornfield. His folks stayed behind. They've already seen this too many times for their liking, he told us. As we approached the circle, it seemed the sky was getting brighter. What's going on? I thought. It should be getting darker out here, away from the house, not lighter. Then I saw it. The glow came from the crop circle. Bright white light rose toward the sky and formed a perfect wall around the circle, like a sheer curtain of radiant energy. I don't think you could fake this, I said, getting that creepy but thrilling sensation I always get in the presence of the truly paranormal. Yes, Ben yelped, this is so cool. Oh man, this is the real deal. Inspectors here to see it. I caught a glimmer of movement out of the corner of my eye. Glancing up, I saw a brilliant white light streaking across the sky on the other side of the field. What's that? I nearly shouted, pointing at the sky. I have no idea, Charlie replied. I've never seen that before. Then he hurried across the field, away from the circle, toward the light in the sky. When we reached the far side of the field, the glow of the circle dimmed, and the light moved slowly down toward us. As it hovered overhead, I noted its tubular shape and brilliant glow. I couldn't tell if it was a solid vehicle or some kind of energy phenomenon. That's when Charlie switched on the radiation meter. He held it over his head, pointing the device right at the glow in the sky. The meter flashed and beeped. Hold my flashlight, Charlie said, handing it to me. I shined the beam onto the face of the meter. I'm no scientist, he said, but I have seen these readings before. The readings coming from that light are the same as that plasma stuff, exactly the same as what was coming from the crop circle. The needle on the meter shot up to maximum and seemed to be pressing higher. Smoke poured from the device. Startled, Charlie dropped the meter, and it hit the ground in a shower of sparks and flames. At that moment, the light in the sky swooped down even closer. We began running back toward the house, but we were no match for the streaking orb. As the light grew near, I heard a loud humming in my ears. My skin began to tingle like an electrical current was coursing through my body. My hair stood straight up and started smoking. My hair stood straight up and started smoking. And my fingernails began to grow bright red. Spectre, Ben cried. My body was burning up. I was being fried to a crisp. I fell to the ground as a cooling force from the direction of the crop circle washed over me. The burning stopped, but my entire field of vision went white. I can't see, I screamed. I can't see. Everything flashed before me. Every ghost, creature, or UFO I'd ever encountered or even read about. For a brief second, I was back in that horrible locker in the 4th grade. Unable to breathe, trapped with a dead boy. I cursed myself for ever getting into all this, and now I was blind. Oh, okay, that's interesting. That's one of the stories I just read, talking about the same kid. Then, suddenly, I could see again. I jumped to my feet in time to see the white orb streak into the sky. It stopped and hovered right above the crop circle. In a brilliant flash that made the ground shake, the light of the circle seemed to engulf the glowing orb, pulling it toward the ground, and then all was still and quiet. Smoke rose from the circle, which was now nothing more than an area of charred earth. The crop circle had healed and protected me. But from what? Some sort of cosmic battle was being fought right here in Iowa, I felt like an innocent bystander who had been struck by shrapnel, but lived to tell the tale. I checked my body for any scars or burns, but the skin on my arms was smooth. You saw it, Jason, Ben shouted when he saw that I was all right. You know it was real. The Machen crop circle became just one more farmer's story, but I knew better. I knew it was real. I had seen and felt it, and it took over a month for my hair to grow back. Huh. Pretty wild. Iowa. Iowa has a lot of fields out there. When I was a kid, I remember with my dad, going to cousin's house or friends or something, or we're just traveling, getting ready to travel to another state or something, going through all them cornfields. There was always this big fat guy sat on the porch of a farm not too far from the main road. Had overalls on. He'd sit out there, wave at everybody going by. I always looked forward to going by there just to see if he was sitting out there, because I wanted to wave at him all the time. But interesting. Okay. Well, there you go. We can mark off Iowa now. Where is it? There it is. All right. Well, thank you all for watching. I appreciate it. And again, if you're into these kind of books, look for this and buy it, order it, or whatever. Support the author. This one here has $12.99 marked on it, so that's how much it originally was. No telling how much it is now, but if you're into this kind of stuff, it'd be good for your collection of paranormal books or something. So there you go. Support the author. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it, and we will see you on the next one. Bye.